Hello everyone, welcome back to Slice to Coasters News, and I know this is going to be a totally different kind of news segment for you guys because we didn't have a podcast last week. Let me kind of break that and then kind of talk about what's going on overall in general. First things first, why didn't we have a podcast last week? Well, it's mainly because when I redid the show 4 times. And last week, I really only had about 3 or 4 times to actually record. So the final iteration, I really didn't like the way that I was going with the podcast. I was talking about the fact that, we might be coming out of the whole pandemic cycle. Might not, who knows. But kind of talking about some of the plus sides of the whole entire pandemic and why I believe that there is more good for coaster enthusiasts from this pandemic than bad. And, it's a very touchy subject. And I wanted to get it right, and every single time I tried to do the show, I felt like there was just a little bit more left that I wanted to tell you guys. A little bit more that I wanted to show you guys, and kind of embrace, so to speak. Well, considering the fact that I never got one out last week, literally, it's been time and time again I try to get something done, and it just doesn't happen. However, today what we're going to do a double podcast dump. So what does that mean for you guys? First things first, this is a news show. This is going to be 100% news. And then we're going to do a podcast probably either today or we're going to post one tomorrow morning. Again, this is because, for the most part, things just happen in my life to where I feel as if, and especially with these shows, I actually take time and redo a ton of these shows because I want to make sure I get it right, for you guys. And, I've got the space and I got the time, especially when I'm doing solo runs. I can sit back and re-record. I can sit back and redo a lot of the content that I'm talking about. Usually if I'm co-hosting, I might go and redo in the first minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. After that, it's kind of like you just got to roll with the show. But I just want to give you guys that little update because I don't want you guys feeling like I kind of dropped the ball last week. I honestly didn't. I had 3 to 4 shows, 45 minutes of 45 minutes each. I had a lot of content, but, with all that being said and done, let's hop in today's news. First things first, we're going to talk a little bit about Wild Adventures. They are losing Cheetah, one of the more beloved wooden coasters in the state of Georgia. It's a very interesting time to be a coaster enthusiast, because now we're losing Cheetah. Cheetah was a CCI, Custom Coasters International hybrid, located down in what I call Valdosta, as Wild Adventures. It's a very beautiful park. It's a very amazing park. It's operated by Hershend. It's a very nice place to go and be. They have an amazing zoo as well. Cheetah is going the way of the dodo. This leaves the park with one quote-unquote crown jewel, being a Vekoma SLC, which, it's kind of like, if you guys know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Vekoma SLCs. I do not really care. I will ride them, but it's not the biggest thing that I'll look for. Anyways, with this in mind, we have a very sizable plot of land opening up in the back of the park. Now, of course, the train does run below Cheetah, so we have the opportunity for maybe something that's a new coaster. Maybe it's a hybrid. Of course, when they made the announcement, it's going to be retired to make room, and this is per Screamscape, by the way. This is their statement from a quote from the park. That basically it's going to be retired to make room for new exciting changes coming in the coming years. Sorry. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean as a coaster enthusiast? Well, first things first, the pandemic hits hard. the pandemic's hitting us where it hurts. Wooden coasters are probably going to be one of the very quickly destroyed items because a lot of upkeep, a lot of maintenance goes into a wooden coaster. You got retracking, you have rework here and there. There's a lot more that goes into a wooden coaster than it does for a steel coaster. Now, with that in mind, what if we're getting an RMC? As I said before, Hersham Family Entertainment, which owns Dollywood and as well Silver Dollar City, they already have a working relationship with Rocky Mountain Construction. Hersham Family Entertainment also owns the Newport Aquarium, which is very close to me, but near and dear to my heart, but we won't talk about that right now. But this is something that's really big and something that's been weighing on my mind because we just got the Redux Lightning Rod 2, which I'm calling it Lightning Rod 2 because the first iteration was so good, but I don't really know about the second one yet. I don't know whether or not I'm going to go a wooden coaster or steel coaster. I don't really feel like I'm comfortable calling it anything like that, in all honesty. However, with all of this being said, what if Wild Adventures has something coming to where we're getting an RMC expansion? I don't know if they started taking down the attraction yet. However, to be retired and make room, you could make room for a RMC by expanding upon the track. You could grow it. You could push it up. You can move it into a direction to where it could grow more and do more. We've seen it before. Steel Vengeance, it was raised up a little bit. Iron Gwazi kind of got, a little bit of a height treatment. All these RMC conversions, we've seen a little bit of height differential. Most of them. Not all of them, but, good portion of the more recent ones. We've gotten a little bit of a height variation to where it comes up a little bit. Or the layout is expanded or, moved in a certain direction that wasn't before. I think this might be an RMC conversion. It might. However, with that being said, again, let's look at the parent company of Wild Adventure, Hersham Family Entertainment. Now, there's a certain manufacturer that they've been working with recently. Can you guess what that is? I'll give you a hint. It's a European company. Oh, what is it? Mach? Yeah, that's right. Mach has worked with Hersham Family Entertainment, with Time Traveler. And my good friend Florida Man Andrew, I wish he was here right now, but I didn't invite him because this is right after the Super Bowl. I'm actually recording it right now. People love Time Traveler with a passion. Now, I'm not saying they're going to make Time Traveler here. Wild Adventures is a very different park than Silver Dollar City, than Dollywood. They're not the same. And I don't really think it should be the same. I don't think that it needs to be different. I do believe, however, that with the way that they're moving, that they could easily go on ahead and say, okay, we've got Mach in our back pocket. We already bought one attraction with them. It worked out great. Why don't we add another? Why don't we add something that's a medium, family, it's on the border being a family and thrill coaster. It's something to where children can ride with their families and feel really excited, where adults can feel like they're having a great time. Something that gives them a little bit more of an edge. Because I do believe, with my heart of hearts, Wild Adventures can become more of a theme park. Not so much, more like theme park, because it is a theme park. A theme park that is more on the radar for coaster enthusiasts. It already has a okay coaster lineup. It's not the biggest, it's not the baddest. They've got mostly Vekomas, I'm going to be real for a second. They got a Swamp Thing, which is like your Flying Ace Aero Chase. They have a lot of these more classic Vekomas, like a Vekoma Boomerang, Vekoma SLC. They've got a lot of these, smaller attractions, family attractions. And I think that if you were to add something like a Mach into this park, it would work. And I believe with the area that it's situated in, it's in the far back, you have the capacity to move around the train. I don't think that the train is an issue. And personally speaking, I don't think it ever will be. I think that we've got the capacity, I think we got the growth, that we got the movement to where they can produce something that's great. Of course, this is a smaller park. Of course, every single park has to grow from somewhere. Let's just be real for a second. Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither would Wild Adventures. With that being said, I think that building a coaster, and maybe not even a Mach, maybe an S&S. Again, these are very cheap, affordable coasters that provide for the whole entire family. I believe they can do it. Especially right here at Wild Adventures. They've got the capacity, they've got the space. They've definitely got control of what they got. And I believe in my heart of hearts that Wild Adventures deserves a good coaster. And maybe that's the reason why they're taking a few years. They said it's not, we're going to, in the coming years. Not next year, not the year after, maybe next upcoming year. So maybe that's, I don't know, 3 years? And in all honesty, I'm not really upset with them not getting something for a few years. It gives me a little bit of time, to kind of do more in the South. Of course, it's going to be sad because I was planning on getting back to Wild Adventures, kind of checking it out again. But what happens, happens. I'll just come back later on. But just in general, I think this is going to be a great coaster. I think we've got a lot of stuff to look forward to. And I'm really excited to see... And of course, they didn't confirm it as a coaster yet. However, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. It could be a flat ride package. We'll get more teasers as the years go on. We'll definitely keep you posted here at Slides to Coasters. However, just know I am very hopeful for what we're going to get in the next upcoming years. With that being said, let's move on to a bigger announcement, a brand new announcement, brand new area just opened up very recently at Universal Studios Japan. Super Nintendo World opened up. Yep, they opened up, and I'm just going to be straight up with you guys right now. I've watched a lot of videos from a lot of different individuals. There are barely any of them that I can say that you shouldn't watch. I cannot personally give you anything. I'm not in Japan right now. As much as I would love to be there, with the worldwide health pandemic and the fact that I gotta finish up a few things in the States first before I go international, they have a beautiful part of the park now. Super Nintendo World, they've got, wire RFID wristbands where, you can go and collect coins, collect stickers by doing interactive things within the park. Their go-kart, their Mario Kart attraction, is honestly above and beyond what I expected. It was an amazing attraction. I've watched some of the walkthroughs, and it is really a beautiful thing. And, it's kind of like, for myself, I look at this land, I look at the food, I look at the merchandise, I look at the rides. The Yoshi ride looks so freaking cool. I am so jealous of Universal Studios Japan that I only have to ask what's next. Because I'm hopeful that we'll get one here in the States. I really am. I'm hopeful that we'll get something here. However, when we do get that land, when we do get that area, I hope that we get a Pokemon territory. That we get a Pokemon space. Of course, in the area of Super Nintendo World, Super Nintendo Land, they do have Pikmin. That's another Nintendo property. I do know that Pokemon is a Niantic property. I do know that they are part of the Pokemon company. However, it isn't a Nintendo tree. And I do hope that, just in general, I do hope that, and yes, of course, they were founded by Nintendo, Game Freak, that organizational area, but it's part of Nintendo. And I do hope that Pokemon comes to Nintendo, whether or not if Universal Studios Japan makes a Pokemon area, or if they bring that to Universal Park, in America, there is so much you could do. And while, yeah, I am a fan of the Mario IP, Mario, Luigi, and I can tell you this right now, seeing Super Mario 64 references throughout the whole entire area was really cool to see, because I grew up on that. I do hope, in my heart of hearts, that they bring that over to the States, that they can go and bring the IPs that I grew up with into these parks. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, for example, if Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure declared, hey, we're going to go and build a Super Nintendo area, I would freak out. I would be probably one of the first people to get in line, one of the very first people to say, all right, let's do this, let's go. I am that guy. And, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, I don't think it is too far-fetched. Far-fetched, if you get that little reference. I don't think it's too far-fetched to believe that we can see some form of, Nintendo Park come from Universal. If Nintendo's already licensed out the IP, and if they're already having a working relationship with Universal, why not go full force? Why not create a whole entire Nintendo Park by Universal? I would love to see that. There are a lot of Nintendo properties. There are a lot of things that Nintendo has access to. And there's a lot of things that weren't even touched. For example, Luigi's Mansion. That is such an amazing video game. And yet, there's no ride for it. That is a game. That is a ride that has so much potential. And that would be a lot of next level technology, of course. However, you could do so much with that IP. You could do so much with the various Mario and Luigi and, just different IPs they already have access to within the within the Nintendo brand of, companies. There's a lot of stuff they can do. And I do hope that they will bring Nintendo to the States. Whether you like it or not, Nintendo has a large control of the popular culture of America and Japan as well, and around the world. In all honesty, for example, I know so many people who are even adults who still play Pokemon. Who still play Smash Brothers, who still play their old DS and Game Boys to go and play the original Mario Karts, the original Mario games, the original Mario platformers, which you can do things like, you could go and bump up on the chance box and get coins. You could go and do a lot of cool things throughout the park using your little wristband and just having fun. In my opinion, it is an adaptation of the wand system they had down at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Orlando and Universal Studios Hollywood, etc. They have these wands and you use it to go and manipulate the world around you. The same exact thing could be said with these little wristbands. Of course, you have to buy them. They have different styles of wristbands. You got, like, Toad. You've got Luigi. You got Mario. You got Princess Peach. I believe, you got a lot of these amazing characters, which you can meet. A lot of the characters, Mario, Luigi, Peach. You can meet these characters and be out there and, be involved. And it is a very volatile world, in my opinion. Everything that you do has a reaction. Every action has a reaction. We all know that equation. However, Super Nintendo World does it in a totally different direction. This, in my opinion, is very big because you do so much more with the idea. You could go and do things around the park and change the world that you live in. There's a story. There is a premise behind every single thing that you do. And it's just really cool to me. I think that they've really hit it out of the ballpark, especially with the pandemic worldwide. Universal Studios and Nintendo both created an amazing park with an amazing IP and an amazing way for guests to be connected, for families to be involved. And that's a big thing that I saw was the fact that, it felt as if it would be the perfect place to take the whole entire family because the adults grew up on Nintendo, the kids probably are playing Nintendo. It is definitely the place that I would want to be at. So with that being said, it kind of wraps up the news for this week. Of course, as we continue to move through the off season, of course, it's February. It is very, very, very extremely interesting, in my opinion, just to kind of roll through the season. For myself, I'm hoping to get on down to Florida here soon. I'm hoping to get on out to the parks again soon. It's just going to be a climb. It's going to be a little bit difficult. So with that being said, stay tropical. If you guys haven't already, check out our social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord. We've got it all. We can go and hang out. We're in our Discord. We're going to be doing a community podcast here in the next quarter. So definitely keep up. Definitely be involved with that. So with that being said, stay tropical. We'll see you guys in the next one.